Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. The first time in a decade we've beaten Manchester City on their own patch. A statement win. 11 points clear with 11 games to play. Arsenal have a game in hand, but so what? We've got 7 games left at Anfield. We got 4 games away from home. It's not just looking good, it's almost looking inevitable now, and it's just unbelievable. What a display, what a performance. It was perfect. I'll get into the game in a minute, but I just want to mention one thing. 2 days ago, Arsenal had a banker home game against bottom 6 West Ham, and we had to go to Man City where we hadn't won for 10 years. There was a possibility that Arsenal would win that game. They were absolutely odds-on favourites to win it, and that Man City could turn us over. Had that happened, we'd be 5 points clear with Arsenal having a game in hand and could have got it to 2. But they didn't. They didn't win it. They bottled it. And we went there and put in the most professional possible performance, and we won ours. And we're 11 points clear. And Arsenal now are trailing in our wake. So let's get on to the game. First half. Slot, for the second time in a week, pulled a bit of a surprise with 4 midfielders and 2 forwards. And according to Dominic Szoboszlai, after the game, the plan was to play with two number 10s. And the plan absolutely worked a treat. When I saw the team sheet, I'm thinking, who's going to play where? But then I saw Man City's team sheet, no Haaland. They really don't have a threat apart from him. They've all been going on about Mamouche because he scored a hat-trick one game, but other than that, he was absolutely rubbish against Real Madrid. Anyway, City were without Haaland, without Silva, without Kovacic, without Gvardiol. And we had a bench which had Jota, Nunes, Gakpo, Chiesa, such firepower if we needed it. And then the game started and City almost immediately set the pattern by losing the ball. In the first 5 minutes, they gave the ball away twice, and we didn't capitalise on either of them, but they showed the defensive frailty that they've shown all season. And that was key to the game, because throughout, every time we attacked, which wasn't a lot, to be honest, but every time we attacked, they were nervous as hell. You could see it. They were in a panic. They could not handle Mo Salah at all for the entire 90 minutes. The other thing that was apparent, and I knew it was going to happen when I saw the team sheet, was everything was out to Doku. And to be honest, he kept skinning Trent. He did, but if you've watched Doku, you know that. Have you ever seen a seal in the circus, and it can throw the ball up in the air and balance it and do all sorts of tricks with it? Well, that's Doku. There's no end product. He's got no end product at all, that lad. And every time he skips past, he either hits a defender, he over-hits it, under-hits it, doesn't put it to the right player. And they left him on with that tactic for the whole game. And yeah, he kept getting past Trent, but he wasn't getting past anybody else. He wasn't getting past the covering Kanate. He wasn't getting past the covering Mo Salah. And every ball was just being put into an area where we had multiple Liverpool players who cleared it easily. And that tactic by Man City meant that they were so reliant on it that they weren't trying anything else. Yeah, they were knocking it around here, there and everywhere on the edge of the box, but there was no threat at all from them for the entire game. I can't remember Alisson making an actual real save yet. There was a couple of times where they had a pot shot and they had to get down to save it, but that was it. In the entire game, they were absolutely crap, Man City, considering they had 69% possession. Then 14 minutes, Liverpool, who can't score from a corner, I think we're 20th in the league for scoring from corners. We play a fantastic routine. Dominic Szoboszlai puts the perfect ball back to Mo Salah, whose shot is deflected over Ederson, and it's 1-0. And I'm thinking, that is class. They just admitted at the end that Szoboszlai actually got it wrong. He wasn't supposed to do that. But anyway, it worked. After that, Liverpool said, all right, City, come on. Here you go, come at us. And they didn't have a clue. They had all the possession and did absolutely nothing with it. And then after about 30 minutes, we then said, okay, you've had your go, now it's our go. And then we started to take control of the ball. And the minute we did it, we created chances. Mo Salah, who'd already shown intent in the first few minutes by roasting Ake, and that's why I think Ake was so nervous for the rest of the game. Mo Salah just puts it to Dominic Szoboszlai, and the keeper is unsighted by his own player and doesn't move as Szoboszlai just blasts it home, and it's 2-0, and it is the perfect away performance. Perfect. This is textbook. This is how great teams go away in big games and win against the top teams. It was absolutely magic, it was. And then at 2-0, I think it was the 44th minute, we saw the end of Kevin De Bruyne. Man City's best player over this last few years. And he's done. He's finished. He took a shot in the 44th minute. And I've watched De Bruyne for all these years. And he's been absolutely brilliant. He just has. But his shot in the 44th minute from 25 yards went over the corner flag. And I thought, there's the moment our career ended. Because it was absolutely shocking. So half time, it was 2-0 to Liverpool. The only concern was the Doku-Trent situation. And could Man City use that to their advantage in some way? But let's go on to the second half and talk about that one. They did come out with the same plan, try and use Doku. I think there was some stat that he got past Trent in the first half more than anyone else has dribbled past anyone else in the first half, but it continued, and they kept banging their heads against a brick wall by trying that tactic time and again, and it failed time and again. We sat deep, which at the time makes you nervous as hell, but in retrospect it was such a brilliant manoeuvre by the manager. We were incredibly good in defence. One of the lads in the group, Neil Hayside, Neil, you called it at the end, mate. He said it was possibly the best defensive performance by a Liverpool team in 10 years. You can debate that all you want, but it was up there. It was absolutely superb. There was a time in the second half, around about the 65th minute, that we had 29% possession. 29. We normally have more possession than the other team in every game. But it was a clear tactic by Slot. And it was designed that way. The setup, the players he picked were designed for exactly that. The only thing we really did in the second half of note was we scored the third goal, which was ruled out. Brilliant move again. Dominic Szoboszlai would have been another assist for him, but he was just inches offside, and before Curtis Jones finished it off. It's a shame because it was a wonderful goal. There was also a shot by Luis Diaz, which Ederson flew through the air and tipped over so that he could get on match of the day. And that was about it. Man City did absolutely nothing. They just huffed and puffed, and by the 70th minute, Guardiola had had enough, and he just took off any attacking intent they had, Mamouche, and put other players on, and they were finished. And we strolled to a 2-0 win. It wasn't even nervy. At no point was I nervous. I had that, that fear that they were going to get one goal, but they never looked like it. And by the way, I do want to mention that Manchester City crowd. It's embarrassing. It was like a morgue in there. The only time I actually heard them supporting the team was the minute after Curtis Jones's goal was disallowed. And they're like, yeah, come on lads, we can do this. And then they had a go for about 2 minutes. They had a shot. And the crowd were roaring them on for about 5 minutes. And that was it. Done. It sounded like the empty hat again for the rest of the game. You're embarrassing, City fans. Sorry, you are. onto the shout-outs. In virtually every one of these videos I've done, the first shout-out is Mo Salah, and it is again. But this one's different. In this game, he showed that not only is he the best player in the league right now, he's the best player in the world right now. He was absolutely stunning throughout. Man City did not have a clue how to stop him. The way he was finding space, the way he was using space, he scored his 25th of the season. He got his 15th assist of the season. He went third on the all-time Liverpool list alongside Gordon Hodgson with 241 goals for Liverpool. Only Ian Rush and Roger Hunt, I should put them the other way around, Roger Hunt and then Ian Rush are ahead of him. He scored his 30th goal of the season. That's 5 times he's achieved that for Liverpool in the last 8 seasons. And I can't remember a more complete performance from him than that. The ball, it looked like he had Velcro on his boots. The ball would come sailing across to him and he would stop it within half an inch off his boot. It was sensational. It really, truly was. We're witnessing one of the all-time greats, and for those of you who are a lot younger than me, let me tell you, appreciate this fella for everything he's given you, because you only get a player like him once in a generation, and you are watching a generational talent. You're watching one of the world-class players that we've ever had. Jamie Carragher just said something at the end of the game, and I agree with him. He said he's having a Messi and Ronaldo season, and he really is. He's been that brilliant, and talk about a big game player. He always shows up in the big games. A Haaland doesn't, a Cole Palmer doesn't, but he does. He always does, and he was sensational. Another one who was sensational was Dominic Szoboszlai. In the last 10 games, he has gone from being very good to absolutely exceptional. And he was brilliant again today. I just watched his interview after the game. He could barely speak. He was that knackered because of the energy he puts in to everything. And yet he had to do a hell of a lot of defending today, because that was the plan, that was the setup. But he also had a goal, an assist, and assisted the disallowed goal as well, which was that far offside. And he was absolutely superb. His energy, his determination, his drive, his passion. But now he's adding goals and assists to that just when we've needed them. And he was brilliant. The third shout out, I was thinking who else should I call out as an individual? But I decided it has to be the whole team and Arne Slot, because that was a masterclass by everybody. Even the knowledge that Trent would struggle against Doku was covered, but it was a tactical masterclass. The shape, the discipline, the meticulous attention to detail about knowing exactly what City are all about and how to combat it and how to strike when we needed to strike. It was utter perfection of an away performance. Perfection. It doesn't get better than that. A clean sheet, 2 goals scored, and the best chances were only about 30% possession. It was brilliant. Slot decided to go with the extra midfielder. Yeah, play with 2 10s, but they drop deep. Pack the midfield, give them no space. Pack the back line, give them no space. But have Salah and Diaz as the outlets. It became an impenetrable wall, especially for a team that didn't really have a natural goal scorer able to maybe make something out of nothing. And they never did throughout the whole game. It was the lowest possession we've ever had on record. It was 34% when we've won a game. That just shows you the tactical masterclass that it was. I just want to mention something. A lot of pundits and a lot of fans, Liverpool fans as well, have been bottling it because of our recent blips, our recent form. And oh God, we're dropping too many points, Arsenal catching us, blah blah blah. I want to tell you something. You know, our last 8 Premier League games, we played 2 at home and 6 away. Honest to God, we have, look it up, 2 at home and 6 away. The 6 away have been, we drew with Forest, we beat Brentford, we beat Bournemouth, we drew with Everton, we drew with Villa, and we beat Man City. That's incredible. City, Villa, Bournemouth, Brentford and Forest are all in the upper echelons of the league, and several of them are in like the top 6. And the other one was the Merseyside derby. And we've got, from those 6 away games, we've got 12 points. That's incredible. At the same time, we've only had 2 home games, beat Ipswich and beat Wolves. So we haven't had a blip. We just had 6 out of 8 games away from home in the Premier League. I haven't lost any of them. 15 away games now, unbeaten. We've never gone unbeaten in a whole season away from home, and we can do it this season. So 11 points clear with 11 to play. It's a dream situation to be in. I just looked at the odds. We're 1 to 20 to win it. 1 to 20. Arsenal have got no strikers. They've got no end product. You've seen it in the last 2 games. And we've got virtually a fully fit squad. So it's on to Newcastle on Wednesday, while Arsenal go away to Notts Forest. Let's take Newcastle to the cleaners. Yeah, they won 4-3 today, but they gave up another 3 goals. So let's take them to the cleaners and let's get it won. Anfield will be bouncing. And then we basically have a whole month. We have 1 league game in all of March, and that is Southampton at Anfield. So sit back, relax, enjoy it, put your feet up, smoke a cigar, whatever you want to do, because we got this. We got this. You'll never walk alone. See you after Newcastle. Ta-ra.